Hello, everybody. It's Teresa Robertson with La Rosa Realty North Florida, and this is my follow-up video to, oh no, I have to give the buyer bad news. So many times in our jobs, we do have to give bad news, but one of the best things that you can do as a realtor is to prepare your buyer. And one of the things as a buyer that you can do is to go back through the home and look at it realistically. So let's back up a little bit. This particular buyer I know very well. We have shopped many times before. I know that this person wants a very realistic view of the house. And many times when we're house shopping or home shopping for ourselves, it's very exciting. It's a new situation. We're trying to think of where all of our things would fit in the house. But what I like to do is have the buyer look through the house the first time without really looking for flaws. They need to see, how does the house feel to them? How does the house look to them on more of a high level? And then I like to take them back outside and talk about some of the pros and cons of the house, and then walk back in with fresh eyes. A lot of times on the second pass, they're still excited, trying to dream about how it's going to affect their lives. But if you take that step back outside, do the exterior walk around, talk about the pros and cons of the house, and then step back through and start opening up cabinets, looking underneath sinks, really looking at all the ceilings, the corners, any windows, start making those notes, you can start to get a better idea of what condition the house is in. Now, I do remind my customers that I'm not an inspector, but I have been through this many times, and I know some of the things to look for. And that has really helped not only myself, but it's helped my buyers. So that you're really starting to narrow down the houses based on their condition. And I think that's really, a great positive for using a realtor is having that seasoned eye of things to look for. The realtor is not caught up in the emotional aspect of buying the house themselves. They're looking at the house more from a realistic view. And I think when you're interviewing somebody, that is a question as a buyer that you should be asking is, will you give me a realistic view of the house? Will you point out these flaws? As a realtor, it's up to me to try to point out some things that you may not see, so that you can make the best decision possible and that you can continue to work with me in the future, because you'll be happy that I've pointed out some things that would have cost you money in the long run. Now, will every house, have major flaws like this one that I was talking about earlier? No, absolutely not. But that's why we hire a home inspector and make sure that we have some other person looking at it besides the realtor and the person that wants to move in. Because again, a lot of times the person that's buying it is potentially emotionally caught up in the excitement. Even as an investor, I find myself when I'm looking at something, I get caught up in that excitement myself. So it's nice to have a second pair of eyes to look at it and really say, hey, did you see, this wave in the wall, or did you see this stain on the ceiling? Just because you see a stain on the ceiling doesn't mean that there are current roof problems. It could mean that there are old roof problems that have not been, rectified as far as painting or doing something to modify the look of that stain, whether it be going up into the attic to make sure that all of that is completely dried first. But again, that's why you use a home inspector. So yes, we do have to give buyers bad news sometimes, but that bad news in the long run typically saves them money. In this particular customer's case, it can save anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 because the sheetrock had rotten wood all up underneath it on potentially two sides and maybe a third side. Once the buyer found out that there was that much damage, they went ahead and pulled out of the offer. But there was potentially more damage, and that's a lot of money to absorb as a buyer. So that's why we do the inspections, and that's why you hire a realtor that is going to look and help you in the long run. Thank you so much for watching my follow-up video, and I look to have you watch more. Please subscribe, hit the bell wherever it's at. Thank you so much for watching.